The holidays are a solemn time of remembrance and spending. Based on the historical records, we now know that thousands of years ago at this time, General Santa and Admiral Bing Crosby led the Yuletide forces to spectacular victory against the pagans in the War on Christmas, establishing a firmly marketable holiday in late December. So remember, kiddos, the more dollars you spend, the more Santa and Bing Crosby will love you. It's tradition. We watched White Christmas and Saving Christmas.
Ah, the French champagne.
Champagne!
The schlocky movie from this week may be the schlockiest film we've ever seen on this podcast.
I'm Mr. Pink.
Sis Blue.
So Miranda hasn't seen Reservoir Dogs.
Those men's children are all identical clones of Adolf Hitler.
Once they were men, now they are land crabs.
Amanda Bynes is a national treasure.
There's like a bunch of other shit that happens in Driven.
Is there?
Secret Nazis.
Yeah.
Secret Nazis.
Hey, Daddy lost his eagle.
I hope
So-
no one from my family listens to this podcast.
The Citizen Kane of the week is...
Is right. That's how I felt watching these movies.
Nice segue.
Thank you.
That was pretty good.
I thought about it'd be interesting if we started on a Segway,
Ooh. A Segway.
not the vehicle.
Right.
Did you ever hear the story about the guy who owns the Segway?
Didn't he die in a
He
Segway
died
incident?
on a Segway. He loved Segways so much that he bought the company and then like drove one off a cliff or something.
Beautiful.
This was someone who purchased the company
The company.
because he's not the founder.
No.
A fan.
As far as I know,
Purchased.
bought the company Segway
Right.
and then died in a Segway accident where he like rode a Segway off a cliff or something like that. Fun fact, number one.
Love it.
It's great when the things in the world feel right.
Yeah.
You know, and that feels so right. Like that feels like
Karma.
it's just like conclusive.
Yeah.
You know, it's like a finished shape.
Yeah. Like the story of Jesus' birth.
Oh god.
Yeah.
So hi, this is our Christmas episode.
Jing, 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 jing.
Yep. No god. Jing. I'm not doing it.
There's sleigh bells.
Yep, and nothing else. So we have some wonderful Christmas movies that we watched today in preparation for this podcast. And well, whatever. So hi, I'm this is the Citizen Kane versus, and
You are nailing this, dude.
look, I'm thrown. Like after those films, it's a weird double bill.
Yeah.
And
It was rough.
it's rough. The first bill was one that you were like kind of like squinting through, like okay, and had moments of.
It was a movie.
It was a movie.
I was pleasantly surprised only because I feel like I was prepped to expect 500% more racism
Sure.
in that movie.
Yeah, and I
it
thought it
was
was
It's just
gonna-
Bing's normal life.
Yeah.
I want to hear more about Bing.
Oh, he's just an old guy in the 50s.
Was he like publicly racist?
Oh, probably.
Oh, but you don't know for sure.
No,
This is
I'm-
speculation.
Man of
I
his
know he hit
time.
his kids a bunch, but like, hey,
But that was the 50s.
yeah, that was the 50s.
Yeah,
You hit
okay.
your
Yeah.
kids.
Yeah.
Eh,
And your wife, probably.
well, I'm not gonna put that on anybody.
Anyone
Yeah.
you can get your
So,
hands
so
on.
it's okay to assume that he's a racist, but not that he is.
Did you see any black
abusive.
people in that movie?
No, but that's the fit. We
Yeah,
saw
I
one.
saw the one.
We saw one.
Yeah.
Anyways.
So, yeah, I am thrown. So,
Okay.
to try and get us back on track, this is Citizen Kane versus. It's
Yes.
a podcast where we take one movie that's considered to be more of a classic and we pair it against a movie that is somehow similar but more on the schlocky side.
About Christmas.
And this time it's Christmas, okay? It's Christmas episode of the Christmassy movies.
And sometimes we do it while smokes weed in the background.
Hello, boss. Me.
Oh,
Who's what?
I'll bleep that out.
Just being thrown under the bus.
Oh, I see.
I'll bleep out her last name.
Yeah, it was pretty aggressive, Dan.
Was it?
Yeah.
I was trying to
Her
explain
last name?
the coughs. What?
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 I said her full name.
So, my name is Jack. I'm joined with my friend over here who is...
What is happening?
What's your name?
Oh, I'm Sean.
And the other friend.
I'm Daniel.
Yeah,
Sorry,
so
we're all shook.
Yeah, this was like so. I've been saying for like a hot minute, and over there is Aaron.
Record, Aaron isn't in the room.
No, of course
Aaron's
not.
never in the room.
Aaron is like Jesus in all rooms. Okay, whatever.
Sweet bangable
So-
baby
Man,
Jesus.
we're nailing this opening.
Look, it's how it is. Do you have a stat for us? Is that what you were to say?
My internet is being.
Okay, fine.
continue.
So I've been saying
Bring
for
it
a
home,
hot
Jack.
minute. Yeah, I am. I have vague hosting abilities. I've been saying that like I've been craving some kind of schlocky, like we've had some like fairly decent movies to watch. Even movies that lost like overall this season have all been like watchable movies for the most part. I think we haven't had like any of the outrageously bad. Like
Yeah, nothing really stands out. I don't
they've
think.
been traditionally watchable films.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I've been kind of craving a movie that really does like test you. Like that schlock where it's like, I dare you to try and like me. And you're like, I'll try. I'll try.
I mean, I honestly don't know, and I know that I say this sometimes as a joke, but I honestly don't know that you can call Saving Christmas a movie.
It is debatable.
It's a video essay.
It's a video essay,
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
It's like a home movie.
If you
School project. I would also like.
Yeah.
Christian Sunday school project.
Yeah.
if you measure the amount of actual story in that movie and take out all the stuff they threw in, like 15 minutes of like hip hop dance filler,
Yep.
I'd
A lot
say
of slow mo.
a lot of slow mo. I'd say it's maybe an hour.
Yeah.
If you look
that,
at like
yeah.
credits and 2 or 3 different like post credit
Yep.
blooper reels,
A whole like prologue sequence of the man
and
himself.
the intro, yeah. So I don't even know that really it is like an actual movie. But I digress.
It's rough. It's a struggle.
Rough for sure.
And it just like it hurt. And it made me so like this is gonna come up a number of times in the podcast, but I feel like it's worth addressing in the preamble, which is that like religion is fucking crazy.
Yeah.
Like I
Yeah.
feel like it's hard to tackle. Like at least White Christmas, our like classic of the week, isn't it's barely Jesus-y at all.
Yeah,
if
it's
at
barely
all.
a Christmas movie.
Yeah,
It's barely a
Christmassy.
Christmas movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's mostly a like pro-American army movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's more Americana
Yeah.
than like any sort of not even like fanaticism or any. It's just like it's barely.
Yeah.
It's just not even.
Yeah.
It's more like ain't Christmas nice? Ah, geez.
A yearning for a white Christmas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whereas Saving Christmas is.
Yeah, it's I mean, it's problematic to say the least. And it honestly brings back a lot of like rage.
Yeah, as
and
the
anger.
as the resident Christian on the podcast,
Yeah.
what are your feelings on it?
It really frustrates me. I mean, I can laugh at it because it's so ridiculous.
Yeah.
So insanely ridiculous. But that's because I can look at it from the outside now, right? But like I have memories of like being on the inside of that and like watching the VeggieTales movies and like having pastors come to my house when I'm like 7 years old. Did I ever tell you guys this story?
Is this going to be is this going to be like one of those stories?
What
Do we have
stories?
to put a disclaimer
Is
at
this
the
a-
beginning of this episode?
I didn't get touched by a pastor.
Okay.
Oh.
No. I would tell you. I blew him. He didn't touch me. He didn't touch me though.
Jesus. Go on.
He was there too. No, but I was like 6 or 7 years old and I had this pastor. I didn't. My mom had this pastor come to my house. And he sat me down for like 20 minutes. And the moral of the story at the end of it, and I was going through a whole thing about how I was like pissed off at my sister for fucking something. I was 6 and my sister sucked.
Yeah.
And he straight up to a child was like, well, here's the reality. You've sinned by getting angry with your sister. And unless you give your life to the Lord right now, you're going to burn in hell.
Wow, that's not the entry point, bud. That's not where you try and bring in a child to the faith.
Right? So I have my qualms with religion, and when I see shit like this, I'm like, oh, like for somebody who is susceptible to that sort of thing, it's actually a real fucking issue. Because like what that movie is doing in essence is trying to brainwash people,
Yes.
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
But here's a weird thing about this movie though, and like we were kind of yelling this at the screen even during it a bit, which is that like I'm not a man of the cloth.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'm not well versed, decidedly so.
You'd make a hot priest.
Thanks, buddy.
Yeah.
You'd wear the collar well.
Yeah.
Thanks, man.
Yeah.
Get some action.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You clean up.
Oh yeah. So no, but like, so
I got you a little bit
a
there.
little bit, yeah.
We're so thrown.
Yeah, it's gonna be we'll get it together after the break. But like,
Let's take an early break before we start. I think.
no, but like, so I don't claim to know the scriptures super well.
Right.
Decidedly so. I think they're fucking stupid as shit. In a nutshell. But watching this movie is like more sacrilegious.
Saving Christmas. Yeah.
Saving Christmas, sorry.
Yeah.
Than other like it's straight up teaching like falsities.
Yeah, but see, that's the problem is that it's not sacrilegious. It is totally fucking on brand with the religion. You know what I mean?
As
Like-
he says later in the movie when he's like, "See, this is what we do." He narrates a lot in the movie. We must take new things and imbue them with old logic. And they were like, "Wait, you mean lie? You mean just like make shit up?"
Yeah.
Tough week, folks.
Yeah.
Bear with us. We're getting through it.
And the other one had some song and dance.
Hey, happy Saturnalia, guys! It is Saturnalia today.
What does that mean?
Yeah, what the?
It's the shortest day of the year. And it's the celebration.
Today is the shortest day. Is it the 21st?
Yeah, it's 21st today.
Oh, shit.
It's the winter solstice today.
It sure is. Happy solstice.
That's what the
day.
pagans want us to.
Yeah, so we'll celebrate it in true Saturnalia fashion by watching bad Christmas.
And planning on like getting hammered later, like after
getting-
this.
Yeah. Like our
mean-
pagan ancestors would.
I mean, if there was ever a time,
Yeah.
this is it.
Well, shit. So let's clip along then and get to some sweet intros, some summaries of these movies that to maybe help just clear up a little bit.
Oh, man. I can't wait to hear how you summarize Saving Christmas.
I'm gonna they're gonna get longer than they've been. Like I feel like White Christmas is gonna be a one-liner,
Biblically
just so I
long?
can give like a few extra lines to Saving Christmas.
and
You know what I
Saving
mean? I
Christmas
try and
is the
limit them
book
to
of
3 or 4
Genesis.
lines just for the authenticity of the bit.
Right.
But I think I want like you
want the
I
sound
want like
effect in the
Kyrie.
All right.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great.
Okay.
Well,
Here you
Here
go.
we go.
Yeah.
In the red corner, representing the classics, two post-war tip-tapping fellas meet a pair of sing-songing dames and head off to Vermont 'cause snow. Then they put on a show to save the skiing run by their former general 'cause no snow means no ski. Then it's Snow Christmas Yay, so singy dance. Coming in at 120 minutes, starring Bing Crosby, Vera Ellen, Danny Kaye, and Rosemary Clooney, White Christmas. And in the blue corner, representing the schlock. So, Kirk Cameron, as himself, starts just like sitting there telling us how much he loves Christmas just so much, oh my god, you guys. But then the movie is about how his brother-in-law, Christian, isn't appreciating Christmas the right way because he's like, where's all the stuff in the Bible? So Kirk corners this guy in his car for like 50 minutes telling him that trees are crosses and Santa got in awesome bar fights and shit, and Christian is like, oh man, how did I not see it? Every time, but it makes no sense. Until finally Kirk is like, now get back in there because you're ruining this for everyone by even slightly disagreeing with how we do things round here. So Christian fucking slides back in and everyone's happy, and the God Squad dance crew do a hate crime of a hip-hop routine. And coming in at 80 minutes, starring Kirk Cameron and Darren Doan, Saving Christmas.
And we're back. We've gathered ourselves. We're feeling ready.
Yeah.
Ready? Collected. Everyone give a yeah on 3. 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
Yeah, see?
Yeah.
So look at us already into our first round, which is story. Good? No.
Yeah, like no. I mean, you could say that Saving Christmas is the greatest story ever told.
Sure. The Lion King.
I wouldn't.
Wait, what?
You could say anything.
You could. Did you see the Lion
Lion
King?
King, the greatest story. Wait, what? Oh, where were you saying?
Yeah, both of these movies are kind of rough, but I mean, the storyline for White Christmas actually isn't that bad. It everything that there's like a cause and effect. Everything
Yeah.
kind of leads to something
Some of
else.
those cause and effects
Kind
are dumb.
of.
Sure,
Yeah.
but it's also a musical, which I did not know ahead of time.
I didn't
Yeah.
expect it to be that much of a musical, but it is more of like a review show than a
Yeah.
musical movie almost.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
even still, there's relationship building. There's a nice little heartwarming moment at the end with the
Yep.
general.
Yep.
Like there is a story there. There's a full
Oh
narrative.
yeah, people like looked at the script and wrote a script in the first place,
Wrote a script.
and then like
Had actors learn lines and choreography.
yeah, like
Yeah.
there was
a
like
lot of choreography.
yeah, a good amount of effort put into it. Just in terms of the plot, it's pretty meandering, and like ultimately super pointless with no stakes.
Yeah, there are no stakes at any point.
Yeah, like there's never really anything to care about. So it is like this sort of Valium of a movie mixed in with these musical numbers that are like little uppers
yeah.
to keep you awake.
Yeah.
It's like this perfect mixture of uppers and downers.
Now, when you say review show, what does that mean?
You go out for a night at the theater, and you don't do this anymore. There aren't really review shows that often now, but you see a little stand-up routine, and then you see a song and dance, and then you see someone doing a monologue or something, and then 4 more people come out and they do a tap routine.
It's
and
a bit vaudevillian.
Yeah, there's a lot
It's
of
like a lot of what early television was.
yeah, different styles of song and dance and entertainment thrown into one thing.
Yeah, where producers just needed like a series of acts
Yeah.
to do stuff. And so
Okay.
so the movie is about people who do that essentially. And it is that also.
And it is that. Well, it was fun. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's fun.
There's stuff it's
The minstrel,
it's
the minstrel
way
number
too
is
long.
Interesting. Yeah.
It's the fact that it's anyway, 2 hours is part of it.
Yeah, that is insane. The runtime is way too much. I think this might be the first movie like that I've ever seen.
Really?
Yeah, I've never seen like Singing in the Rain
Oh, okay, yeah, I was
or
gonna
say. Right.
or who was the big kind of name at the time who was in those films? Who did
Fred
Singing in the Rain?
Astaire?
Fred
You're
Astaire.
thinking Gene Kelly. Gene Kelly was Singing in the Rain.
I was thinking of Fred Astaire, but maybe it was Gene Kelly. But like that era of actors and movies where
Sure.
like, movies were just different. That's like movies were based on like really fucking talented actors who could do all the stuff, or at least
Yeah.
like 2 of the 3 main things.
Yeah, at least 2 of the 3 really fucking well, and then
Yeah.
the other one passably,
Yeah.
which we saw a bit of.
They were mostly funny enough, they were mostly dancers with like mediocre acting and singing chops. And they kind of got better if they got big enough. They got to keep doing it. They got pretty good at those things. Eventually, Fred Astaire got pretty good at singing.
Yeah.
He actually had songs that would like get on the radio, and that's partly because they were just like the soundtracks from the movies they were in. Like media was more
Right.
blended then. Anyway,
I stumbled onto a video on YouTube recently. It was of Fred Astaire dancing at the Oscars, but he was like in his 70s.
Oh wow.
Boy, was it painful.
Oh no.
Yeah, it was weird, man. Because it was past the time where that was like the cool thing, and he was also fucking old.
Yeah.
Um,
But he was probably getting a lifetime achievement award or something like that.
he was just a presenter,
Well.
but like people obviously applauded him and gave him his due respect. But it was like
So the Oscars being horribly embarrassing isn't a new thing.
no, from
Yeah.
what I can gather, it goes back since the dawn of time,
Decades and decades.
Since the birth of sweet baby bangable Jesus Christ.
Hey.
I don't want to bang baby Jesus, by the way. I want to wait.
Just Jesus.
I want to wait until he's grown.
Yeah,
His
calling
ethereal
dibs.
presence.
Yeah, I'm calling dibs so that when he is
Yeah.
Can you,
of
technically
age.
have an orgy with
I know what Twilight is.
the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit?
Right, so technically it's a four-way every time.
It's a four-way
It's a
every
four-way
time.
every
that-
time.
that
But
Jesus
that's like
touches you.
that's a weird illegal four-way because there's a child in there.
No, it's the
There's
Father,
a son.
the Son,
He's
the
a son.
Son.
The
It's,
son
he's
could
still
be
he's still
Carpenter
hot Jesus.
not
yeah,
baby
it's whatever
Jesus.
Jesus.
Hot-
Yeah, he's hot.
Hot
Jesus.
house builder Jesus.
Yeah.
And the Holy Ghost, which I imagine like sits in the corner and watches or something.
Because he can't actually touch you, so he's just
Yeah.
in the corner being like, "Ooh."
But it's also in you, so
Yeah,
That's
fair.
true. That's true. He's the most in you.
yeah.
Actually.
Something else I'll say about White Christmas is that for what I think is supposed to be sort of like a charming, I think it's supposed to be romantic. It is a completely aromantic movie,
Yeah,
Right?
I don't like.
Do you
any
mean
of
like the complete lack of chemistry between the actors?
and
or...
like an attempt to actually write a story that seems to be like about love in any way. Like it's
Yeah,
it's
they
it's
just are
really,
in love because the story demands that they are in love.
Yeah, like because they've been hanging out, so eventually they got to kiss.
Yeah, pretty much.
A trope that is made fun of in Saving Christmas. Like, wouldn't it be nice if they kissed now?
Yeah,
So,
Oh, right.
so Saving Christmas, on
Yeah.
the other hand, is this weird product of this person,
Kirk Cameron.
Kirk Cameron, who made that other movie, the plane one.
Yeah, I want a bit of backstory on James Cameron, or not James Cameron. I love
Definitely
James
not
Cameron.
James Cameron.
Kirk Cameron used to be a mainstream actor, didn't he?
Yeah, he was on. Was it like Family Ties? Just a sec. He was on one of those as a youth. He was on
okay.
one of those Growing Pains. He was on Growing Pains.
Got it.
And he allegedly was the odd one out in that cast amongst all the kids because he like would study the Bible and proselytize people on set, or or be told to, at least probably by his parents, because they're probably also nuts. But I looked up his
makes me
religion.
so angry. Okay.
And he's part of some like the Master's Way, or he's written a book called The Master's Way, and apparently
Is
even
he the master?
I don't know.
Okay.
It's an evangelical Christian group that part of their indoctrination is they sit you down and ask if you are a good person, and when you inevitably say yes, I believe I am a good person, then they walk through all of the the
Sinful things
the
you've
10
done?
commandments, and they walk through all of the promises that the tribes of Israel made to Moses, or made to God when Moses got the commandments, and yada yada yada, and they walk you through how you are actually a sinner, and that you're going to burn in hell unless you give yourself to God right then and there. So probably
That
not.
sounds a lot like my experience.
There you go.
Oh, fucking Jesus Christ,
So
man.
that explains why it connects to you. But he made the original Left Behind movie that they remade into the Nick Cage one.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Right. I see. Someone saw that and they were like, there's a spark here.
Yeah, well, it's based on a book that was widely best-selling. So.
Right.
I can't wait for the Nick Cage version of Saving Christmas.
Ooh. Oh, I'd watch that.
Ooh. I would watch that too.
Jesus is just an apple.
The trees are crosses.
But even this, even this shit about proselytizing as a kid, as a fucking young little Christian boy, I was told to also do that. So I'd have friends over, and instead of hanging out and watching movies, I'd force them to do, what was it called? Devotions.
Oh,
You ever heard of this?
Nope.
You just have to
No, my friends were cool.
I mean, I didn't have very many. And now I'm realizing why I had such a hard time making friends. But you have to read a passage from scripture and then talk about it and then just pray.
Sure.
And this is what I was again 6 or 7 years old doing this shit.
Yep.
Anyways.
So the main points of this plot are so the first story is the cloth, the swaddling cloth represents what was
It's also his shroud.
It's also his shroud. But I was
So
trying
that
to
means
remember what
something.
the parallel to anyways.
Somehow they use the cloth to show that baby Jesus came down to die because of the parallel between the cloth that he was wrapped in as a baby and the cloth that was empty
Right.
when they found the body missing
Right.
from the cave.
And
or
that
the
was
tomb.
tied to Christian, our protagonist, question mark?
Antagonist.
And antagonist, anti-hero. We'll
Meat,
go with
meat
anti-hero.
puppet.
Meat Puppet director. That was tied to him thinking snow globes with the manger scene are sacrilege, because at one point in that vision, the hay is dusted down as if it is snow.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
So there's that connection.
Right.
Solid as a rock.
Right.
2,
Irrefutable.
Christmas trees are in
Crosses.
the Bible in Genesis in the very first book
Because the world has trees.
because
Yeah,
God made
correct.
trees.
Yeah.
Yes.
And
And keep going.
there was a tree at one point in the Bible that had some fruit hanging on it and some nuts, I believe.
There's
Well,
an almond tree.
it was an
almond
almond
tree.
tree.
that someone hung lights
And some oranges from or something.
I think my favorite part is when he's trying to describe the connection between Christmas trees being the trees of the Garden of Eden. Actually, so Adam takes the apple, and the only way to give it back is for his body to become the apple.
Yeah.
And in that way, he was the first Adam, and Jesus was the last Adam.
Yeah.
And so he becomes the apple returned to the tree
Yeah.
in his death.
Because we put apples. I mean, I did.
I do nail apples to crosses
Well,
and go, I put it back on the tree.
I do-
We all did that as kids.
We did have apple ornaments, a ton of apple ornaments on our tree. So I guess we were participating in
Can we
religious ceremony.
Can we all just agree, though, that there was a second option in Adam just taking a shit and then putting that back on the tree in the Garden of Eden?
Yeah.
Sure.
Thus negating any need for sweet, sexy baby Jesus to come down and die for us?
Well, aren't you thankful that he didn't do that?
I didn't get to bang him
So
yet.
then, but the third one is Santa Claus is Saint Nick. Oh yeah, we got 10 seconds.
That's okay, we can-
Santa Claus
we can
is
fill
Saint
this out.
Nick, and Saint Nick is cool because he beat up some people he didn't agree with in a bar once.
Yeah.
All right.
He's a badass.
Yeah.
He's a violent.
He's a cool badass.
No, but he's bad in the good way.
in the good way.
Yeah.
Where because he is not soft on truth. I think was the
It was no time to be soft on
no
truth.
time to be soft on truth.
Yeah.
So if you want to bring that to a common, a more modern context, that's go shoot people you don't agree with. I think
At least harm them.
Yeah, harm
Yeah, at
them.
least
Harm
make
them
them
in some way.
publicly.
publicly,
Yeah, yeah,
publicly
yeah.
Make
harm
it
and
make an
shame them.
example of them through public violence
Yeah,
and shame.
verbally ridicule them and then hit them.
Ooh, what about the other good one, which is that the materialism is Christmas reflects us receiving
Receiving the material body of Christ
Yes.
through communion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or like just through his like him being born.
Right, fair enough.
Is being his material
Right,
self.
It wasn't even like as complicated as
No,
that.
it wasn't
just that
communion.
he
It was
existed.
that he was physically
He was-
here.
he was
We
material,
could see and
therefore-
touch him, and so gifts are that.
We're gifting each other Jesus.
And toy soldiers are Herod's soldiers. Which remember the baby was surrounded by soldiers.
yeah.
All right? It's like, okay. Yeah. So maybe we put toy soldiers around our mangers just so everyone really knows what was going on.
His hair. And then I thought we'd have more DeAndre cutaways.
Yeah.
But we have that one cutaway where the Alex Jones loose change info warrior guy
Yeah.
is spouting about war on Christmas, which this movie like poses itself as a like, yes, there is a war on Christmas movie. But then that character continues to spout insane bullshit, thus proving he is a not trustworthy character. But you've already used him as a mouthpiece for your ideology. And then we never got more scenes from that guy.
I'm surprised that the movie wasn't generally about someone who just like didn't believe in Christmas, and that the issue was that he was like too rigid. He was too much of a purist in his Christianity.
Like they couldn't have a lib as the guy we are like cheering for.
No. They weren't converting like an atheist. They were just correcting the sightlines, which was something we also mentioned during the movie, how much this movie really brings home the like, hey, we notice you not quite fitting in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We notice that you're outside in your car.
You're ruining Christmas for everybody.
You're ruining.
Join us.
So maybe you could maybe
Christianity.
and like the way the fucking dude, our main I guess guy, tries to say it at times, where he's like, "You've been listening to the wrong people, and you have taken it hook, line, and sinker."
Yeah.
You know, and it's like, what?
Yeah.
Which people? And it's not even like, ooh, the scary atheist. It's like, no, you've been listening to the wrong believers of our beliefs.
I also would be remiss if I didn't point out that surprisingly, Saving Christmas is like infinitely more racist than White
100%
Christmas.
than White Christmas was? Yeah.
Yeah. Just in what was his name? Darren Doan?
Yeah.
In our director's handling of the only black character in the movie,
Oh, boy.
and all the outtakes of him just being like, be blacker,
Yeah.
bigger.
Hey,
keep
why don't you
dancing,
start
dance?
beatboxing for us?
Yeah.
And when the only time that they speak, he comes up and he goes like, hey man, how's? And then Darren Doan goes, oh yeah, what's happening, man?
Yeah.
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 At least in White Christmas, they're like, could we have some sandwiches and some drinks? That'd be fine.
Some snow drinks?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like they just like look at a person and speak to them like they've been speaking to everyone else. But at least that person doesn't get to talk, but
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, shall we take a little cool down? I know I need one.
I do too.
Okay.
God, snow. All right, great. We're back. So let's jump right in to round 2. Two. Production. Good. So one of these movies has production and the other one doesn't. This is a bit more of a.
Yeah, one movie has a professional dance crew come in.
One has too much production.
To really hit the
way
pivotal
too much.
climax.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Has like many full scenes for no reason. It's that classic like old Hollywood thing where there's like this belief in making a show that it's like, well, a good show's got to have a big number. Well, when's the big dance number? Like even like people who don't give, are just like shameless producers are like, well, there's got to be a part where it's the dream ballet sequence.
Right.
Like just because it's like the formula that they believe makes money. Like it's there's an algorithm. It's like they got to have it. And so no matter what the situation is, even though they're like a couple of retired Marines that are now doing a two-person act and are chasing some women to Vermont to stay at like they're like, no, but a whole production's going to go there and they're going to do an entire show, see?
Yeah, it's some galaxy brain thinking.
Yeah. There was some slow-mo and
Makes for a spectacle, you know?
yeah.
You're both looking at me like you want me to contribute to this.
Yeah,
Correct.
Well, yeah, there's
As
three of us
someone,
in this
how
podcast.
was it? This was the first one you've ever seen.
I agree with what you're saying, but I also I appreciated it because that's what the movie was.
Yeah.
It is a song and dance movie. I want all the fucking spectacle, and some of those dance numbers are insane.
Yeah.
Like fucking sane.
They're okay.
Okay. Some of them are really impressive. The one girl, I mean, we can I guess this would be an acting comment. I don't really know where the line is on this, but the one girl who had the non-existent rib cage was
Oh, she was hardcore.
incredibly impressive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, there was some like, I don't know. I was getting a little picky and snobbish with the lighting because clearly all of it was shot on a soundstage, and like the war scene, for example, there was no telling where like the sun was or where the moon was in the sky. Everything was just completely evenly lit, as if they were in a dining room. So like there was little things like that, but that was the state of the art at the time.
Yeah, yeah.
But I mean, contrast that with Saving Christmas. I mean,
You can't use the word contrast because no one on Saving Christmas knows what that word means.
Oh my, good fucking call, dude. Good fucking call. I'm pretty sure that most of that movie was lit with the pot lights in the ceiling
Yeah.
in that room.
Yeah, most of it.
Yeah.
Which was crazy because the very first shot of the guy of Darren bursting through the door and he's backlit by the
Yeah.
fucking lights
With
outside.
the sweater dust.
Yeah. That sets the movie up to like be a movie. It sets it up to visually at
I
least
believe
look quite
that's the
cinematic.
second intro of the 3.
Yeah.
Quite possibly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Quite possibly. But then you cut right from that to this like weird, like sickly yellow room.
Yep.
Yeah.
Also, that DP has never heard of a fucking white balance. Drove me insane. And I'm pretty sure shot the entire thing on autofocus. The amount of like focus drifting there was in the entire movie, it was bonkers.
The best one being when they're depicting the baby Jesus retelling, and they're slowly, I don't know if they're zooming or panning, but they're moving in some way closer to the rock, to the manger, the rock manger.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
And when it would go, they'd let it go out of focus, and then
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 dip
instead
to
of
black?
instead of no, then they would just cut to or maybe it would do a quick fade to black and come back in.
To the same shot, but now in focus.
And at the same place they'd zoomed in, it wasn't like from a new angle, and they would let it go out of focus first. It's like they were trying to do like a hazy transition, but in like a different way.
But they lost the file for the fog transition or something.
It's
like
like
that.
just let it. Well, then maybe we'll just let the part where it goes out of focus first,
Yeah.
and then we'll cut back to the same shot in focus again until it goes out of. They did it like 2 or 3 times.
It was insane, man. And literally, like when we were on someone's coverage while they're speaking, every time they moved their head or turned or shifted, it would go out of focus while the camera fought to find where the person was. Like that, whoever DP'd that movie should ask to have their credit taken off of the film. Like it is.
They're probably friggin' proud of that movie.
Maybe. I mean, maybe it was a student from Lib University or whatever the fuck it was
Almost
called.
certainly, yeah.
Lib University. That's a different one.
Oh yeah,
Well, Lib.
For the
Liberty,
libs.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Liberty. Right.
Yeah.
Right. I forgot what it was.
University.
Anyways, yeah, the production value and like the 80% of this movie takes place in one
In a
shot,
car.
and the lighting,
Fuck, man.
the lighting in that car,
Is the overhead light.
and there was like some weird like red. Like I think they were trying to emulate the Christmas lights coming from the house,
Yeah.
but it just looked like they were both sick.
Yeah.
Like,
it
it
was
was-
clearly like one pot light with a green gel over it.
Yeah,
that they shone
dude.
At the fucking car.
Perfect.
Yeah.
And I mean, in story, we didn't even talk about the fact that there was clearly no script to this movie. Like,
Yeah.
I don't. I mean, I was going to say I don't understand how someone gets a budget approved for this film, but I mean, clearly they did not.
No,
Right?
yeah, like they probably went to Kirk Cameron and were like, "We need a Christmas film. Can you just like be yourself in this thing? We'll get a bunch of our friends together and make this, and we'll pump it out."
They
This-
probably had someone donate. You know, like there's always donors for the church and churchly things. They probably
Probably.
got someone to
Probably.
donate like a.
yeah,
It's probably Kirk Cameron's house though.
probably or like one of their houses.
Very, very
Dean-
late. Or maybe
Dean
it
Boone's
was Doran Deans or
Doran-
the fuck his name was Darren Doan.
Dingleberry Magoo.
Dingleberry fuckface.
Ooh.
Yeah,
Whoa.
I'm
Wow.
angry at the entire production team of this movie.
He's not the priest. Okay.
What's
that came to
it was a pastor.
I
Actually.
don't know the difference.
It was the difference is that
I know I don't care.
No, you need to learn this.
I-
So a priest traditionally comes from a Catholic church.
Yep.
They are among the worst offenders. A pastor is when you subscribe to another Christian sect like Baptist or evangelical would be one. We were Baptist at the time, so we had a pastor. Pastors can marry. They can fuck only within marriage, not outside of it.
Of course.
And obviously little kids in private.
Yeah.
Actually, that's been primarily a Catholic thing because the priests can't fuck.
Well, except for like the Falwells and all of them. There were well, no, I don't think those were kids. That was more like they got caught in a men's bathroom with a male prostitute. And
What is this?
Oh, gee, one of the Falwells, I think. One of those churchy guys from the late '90s. He was caught in an airport bathroom, I think, with a male prostitute.
I mean,
Airport
whatever.
bathroom.
Yeah.
Like airport.
All right.
Yo, male
No,
prostitute, whatever. Do your thing.
I wish for that man to have sex with anyone that he wants to have sex with consensually.
Yeah, as long as it's not a fucking child.
Yeah.
So, anyways, production value of Saving Christmas is
They had all
It's
the music
offensive,
they had
almost.
from Extreme Tunes or whatever.
extreme music, and they had the God Savior Christ dance crew, whatever it's called.
I mean, at least the God Squad hip hop
God
crew
Squad.
at least like practiced. It was like an abomination to like hip hop, and like to the point that it was like offensive. It reminded me. I don't know if you've ever seen this. If you're not in the dance world, it was a really prominent video on that site. Everything is terrible. You ever seen this?
I think I've heard of it.
And it's like this like middle-aged white woman, like it's like these videos of like a real hip hop tutorial.
Right.
And they are like, they're hilarious. And it reminded me of that hip hop
Yeah.
where she's like, I use a lot of points. It's like pointing.
I think I have seen this actually.
Yeah, it got out there. But yeah, going back to White Christmas though, again, a bunch of money thrown at it.
Oh, sure.
Like, it
Irving
was-
Berlin.
Yeah,
Uh,
a lot of the music was super dumb. I think that the songs are all pretty terrible.
the Sisters song would be really fun if we'd heard it once.
Yeah, probably the best one.
The one where they're just telling the bad jokes about how do you shut up a dog.
The minstrel
Holy
show.
shit!
That's
Yeah,
what
the
that was.
minstrel. Yeah.
Yeah.
Whoa,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't really know. Like again, this might be an acting thing, but the blonde sister that wasn't the dancer,
Yeah.
what was why was she there? She wasn't that good of a singer. She clearly couldn't dance. She didn't like fit the
He was a singer.
troupe.
There were
He was a
singers.
singer.
He was a singer.
Okay, well, fuck me then.
So, but it has that thing where like it's of the era. I would say it's overproduced. Like
Yes.
to
Overproduced.
to have a somewhat slightly real conversation as part of this podcast. It was overproduced, 100%. It's
I
that
don't
thing.
know. It's the whole point of it is that it's supposed to be a big fucking spectacular production.
Well, see, my thing
No.
is the break. Maybe this is a story, but the break between the realistic style of the non-musical numbers breaking into the fully self-aware, like meta theatrical presentation of all the dance and song numbers, where like they're looking at the camera and they know there's
Only
an
one of
audience.
them is.
No, but that's probably directed because
Probably,
our focus is supposed to be on her, so we're supposed to be making eye contact, and Danny Kaye is only there to like show off his beautiful girl as she spins in the dress.
Yeah.
Fair.
Yeah.
But those are very self-aware, and then you suddenly are crashing back into the realism immediately out of these songs.
Yeah.
And it's hard to like the guy on the train should have been like, I think they all took a lot of marijuana. I think we got to get these people some help.
Well, it's clearly cocaine. I think they're singing about snow.
Yeah, snow. Yeah, true.
So it's just like these movies when they're done well, like having seen more of them, they'll do a bit like it's possible. Few of them don't. Like most of them are like this. They're overproduced where like even the world outside of the musical numbers feels over the top and like so nothing really feels real, which can be the vibe, you know. But like when they're done well, they have a bit of like a groundedness outside of it, or even all the way through it. So like when those heightened moments, it's in contrast to something a bit better. Like the best example I can give in this movie was the best scene in it, which is them changing in the change room.
Yeah.
That's the best
Great
scene in the
scene.
whole
Yeah.
movie. It's actually good, with the best number being her in the pink dress. Outside. Yeah,
that was
that
the
one's
best
ac-
number.
Yeah, that one's actually pretty famous. I've seen that one shown before, but other than that, like nothing else in this movie is really like widely regarded as top. Like it's clearly fine, but
Yeah, I mean, I was just in awe of what her body was doing most of the time.
oh sure, yeah,
Like the stuff they had her doing in the big, like the first big rehearsal number in the tavern or whatever, or the hotel, where they just like have her like bending back and forth in and out of the splits, and then they literally throw her down the stairs.
yeah,
Like
yeah,
I don't know, man. That stuff is pretty spectacular, but
yeah.
But I hear what you're
Ellen.
saying.
Her name is Vera Ellen. Began dancing at the age of 10. A few years later, became one of the youngest Rockettes. Appeared in Broadway musicals throughout the 40s. and danced with Danny Kaye in Wonder Man, who was in this as well. Fred Astaire in Three Little Words. Gene Kelly in On the Town.
Oh, Three Little
All right.
Words. That's a
Well,
big one.
why don't we transition into our next round since we're already talking about it?
Yeah, let's do it. So, moving into our next round, acting. Good. Vera Allen?
Vera Ellen.
Vera Ellen?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if she's a good actor. She actually did some better acting than some other people at times, to be honest.
Yeah, she was fine. She was the most like consistent.
Fucking Bing. Like,
Yeah, what's going on, Big Boy?
So was Bing one of these guys who was doing a lot of movies during his music career? Was he like a
Oh yeah.
who's the other one?
he's a Sinatra.
Sinatra. Yeah, Sinatra is influenced. Like Bing was before Sinatra, so Sinatra
Oh, was he?
was
Okay.
influenced by him. Bing Crosby is the highest selling recording artist from like 1920 to 1970 or something like that.
And that's the thing you
Like
can kind of
every
tell.
year he won that?
Of that era, he sold more records than anyone else.
Got it.
Yeah.
And like he is that first and foremost.
Yeah.
So when he
singer.
does, yeah, he's just like a recording artist.
He also made 70 films, and each one probably has its own released soundtrack that was like
Part of it.
sold. So like
He made 70 films.
70 films.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So like it was part of his like way to make money.
Yeah.
But like you can kind of tell in his performance that he's just like, yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, I very much felt like he was just kind of there.
he knows what like the minimum is to make people not, and he's like, I think he really did a careful job disguising his rampant alcoholism, and
Not at
just
that point, apparently.
oh well, there you
Apparently
go.
he'd got it under control by
Oh.
the 30s.
Great.
What year was this movie made?
54.
54. Okay.
But like knowing how to do enough to not make it like seem like he catered a personality that was this kind of understated performance. So
Yeah.
that you never had to be like, well, why isn't he doing anything?
And I didn't mind that when he was speaking. I mean I was fine with that. I kind of I've come to expect that sort of thing from men of that or male actors of that era. But I found that he was consistently outshone, whatever the word is,
Yeah.
by Dan. What's his name? Dan Kelly.
Danny Kaye.
Danny Kaye.
Danny Kaye was so good.
Danny Kaye was incredible.
Yeah.
Like he should have been the lead of that movie.
The only other film I know him from is a film called The Court Jester, which I think he made after this one, and it's his solo vehicle. And
Yeah.
he's a jester in a medieval kingdom, and like he's just singing songs and being a goof throughout the whole. It's a
I
beautiful
think you
movie.
talked about this. I think you mentioned
Probably,
that to
yeah.
me like this summer.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was like the true performer of the movie, and
Yeah.
next to him, Bing Crosby looked lazy. It
But
looked like
Bing-
he didn't know what he was doing.
At
As a
the-
singer, yes, but as a dancer, not at all.
At the point this film was made, Bing Crosby was like the most recognized human being on the planet for like a decade at that point, probably.
So he could just coast on that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Right.
it's kind of like what The Rock is doing now.
Yeah. Yeah. Very similar.
Oh man, I almost sent you guys a thing today. The Rock has been like essentially booted from the DC
I
universe.
saw that.
Well,
Sorry,
because
Black
everything
Adam.
was booted. Like you were saying that, right? That,
Oh yeah, and Henry Cavill's
Henry
out.
Cavill's out, and now and Black Adam is out. I mean, the statement he released made it sound like him and James Gunn were looking to find a way that they could collaborate in the future, but that obviously it sounds like bullshit. I think that they just axed it because Black Adam didn't do DC any favors, right? So yeah, they're cleaning house over there. But anyways, yes, that's what The Rock is doing, and that makes sense that that's what Bing Crosby would be doing as well.
Yeah, he's just recognizable. He's a terrible actor.
Yeah, I mean, again, the acting stuff didn't really bother me because of what the movie is, but the fact that he is clearly also not a dancer and like doesn't do a lot of solo singing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
it's not even a movie where he like has a sidekick. They are a duo. They're
Yeah.
always performing together
Yeah.
in equal parts. So he looks like the amateur.
It also just like lacks any character.
Sure,
You know what I mean? There is no definable character that you can. I don't know what you could say about that. Like, oh, he's understated. Like that's not a good character descriptor.
No,
He's
Do you know what I
weathered.
mean?
He's old and
And then
leathery.
he gets
Leathery.
described a
Yeah.
bit as being, oh, he's an overactive producer. He's
he's tired.
he's a bit stubborn or something like that.
Yeah.
But like he doesn't really do anything to show us that.
Nope.
Whereas Darren Doan, you know,
Director extraordinaire.
when they're in the car, he's like, "Come on, like what? You want me to close my eyes?" You know, he's like making obstacles.
Yeah,
and it's
yeah.
all improv. That's like
all
that's,
improv.
That's
and,
big acting.
and their skills are on display.
The slow-mo shots of his wife looking at him like, "What are you up to now?"
Your mouth's not open enough.
Well, I'm trying to say it as I'm
Yeah.
doing it, which is hard.
I don't have words to describe how frustrating I find everything about that movie. But like the word masturbatory comes to mind for Darren Doan.
Yeah.
Yeah, and what's the main guy's name?
Kirk Cameron.
Kirk Cameron.
At least Kirk Cameron, at least he is like trying to act.
Is he?
He's trying. He's definitely trying.
No. I would say Mr. Doan is trying to act.
Mr. Doan is trying to show off how fucking hilarious Mr. Doan is.
Sure, and he's
I wouldn't
trying
call that
really
well,
hard.
except for
You
the
can
one
see
except
it.
for the one monologue. The one McConaughey-esque monologue he
yeah.
delivers at the top of the film when we like barely know who anybody is and he launches into this fucking like the heavy ass fucking 2-minute speech.
He's like looking off into the distance.
Yeah,
I was
and
driving
saying like
down
2 words a
Main
minute.
Street.
Yeah. Saw a little
Like,
girl
a kid, their mom,
Yeah.
their bags. They'd clearly been
shopping.
presents. She was me.
Yeah. Yeah, that is a choice he makes.
Which is almost acting. Like that's actually like a better choice.
Kirk is not acting. Kirk is lecturing. Kirk is
Okay, yes.
He's doing a sermon.
Yeah, he's turning himself into a prophet.
Yeah, it starts with just him in a chair,
yeah, it does the Tom Cruise intro.
being like, I love Christmas, but some people don't want us to celebrate Christmas.
Now how
Yeah, don't listen to what the pagans say. It's such a good line.
I've never been called out by a movie like that before.
I was like, not me.
Okay,
Are you sure?
Oh yeah, they're
Have you
shaming
heard our
me, dude.
podcast?
I'm fine.
Shame is a huge part of it.
Well, Dan, you're still a Christian.
Yeah, I mean, I love sexy adult.
well,
Jesus.
You've come to Christ, right?
Yeah, you were baptized, right?
Yeah.
I may have been baptized in a Catholic church actually,
What?
like as a baby.
Yeah. Did
Never as an adult.
Did your family leave the Catholic Church?
No, well, my dad is still very much
Catholic.
a Catholic. He like runs the choir at his church, and I mean, I won't get too much into it in this forum.
Yeah, that's for our sister podcast, Daddy Issues.
Dadcast.
Dadcast / fuck Christ. But also,
Daddy Christ.
yeah, but he is still very much a devout Catholic, as is my sister, I think. And my mom has kind of like strayed away from the organized institution
She
of
has
religion.
lost her way from the rest of the herd.
No, she is more just like faith based at this point. She doesn't really like go to church or adhere to a lot of like the exclusionary
Right.
pillars of religion.
Okay.
Which I'm super down with. Anyways, I forget
So
where I was
does
going
Kirk
with that.
Cameron do you remember a Kirk Cameron type from your days in the church?
Like most people in the
Right.
church.
Yeah, I have some cousins like this.
Yeah, that like what he's doing is not an extreme form of anything.
No, yeah,
that is very much
It's a very self-centered,
the attitude.
self-focused.
It's very and it is very much whatever you hear from the outside world is wrong. Here is the right version of this story.
Yeah.
Anyone trying to tell you otherwise is lying to you, and if you believe that, you are sinning.
Yeah.
It's all very much like, if you stray away from this, you are bad.
Well, it reminded me a lot of we're just talking about this now, because there's nothing more to say about the acting. It reminded me a lot of the cousins on my dad's side, the Christian Brethren part of my family.
Oh yeah, I forgot they were.
And
Is that
like-
what they call themselves?
Yeah.
Fuck off.
Yeah.
We have,
Really?
We have the Plymouth Brethren up near Perth, and they're probably pretty closely
Yeah,
related.
but that's like hate each other.
yeah. Yeah.
Where it has a similar vibe to this.
Christian gang warfare.
Yeah, the antagonist isn't atheist. It's like people believing wrong.
Right.
Like the people that are like actually, that's somehow like the thing to focus on. So like I have a number of cousins who were like missionaries to South America to convert Catholics.
Yeah.
Because it's like
To convert Catholics.
yeah,
To what? Sorry?
to Christian brethren
Make them more
because
puritanical.
because they
So
weren't
take them away from the Catholic Church to their
Yeah.
sect of Christianity. Okay.
yeah,
Okay.
because they were gonna burn, and so they had to save them. So they were like they had the first steps kind of right, but they needed to be corrected. Like it had a similar vibe to this.
Right.
I also had cousins that went to like Uzbekistan to convert Muslims.
Oh
a
my
period.
god.
Oh boy.
Which is a thing they'll kill you for.
But like fuck off. Like fuck off. Where do you get off thinking that you have any right to go to another country to tell them that their religion is wrong?
Do you remember that guy?
I mean,
that,
it is,
that
but
American,
not from.
that American priest
Hot take.
or like American pastor or something who went to some island in the middle of the Indian Ocean to try
Yeah.
and convert the like uncontacted tribe that lived there.
And it wasn't even. It was like a
and they-
kid. He was like 20.
You're right, and they killed him.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm not saying that kid should have died, but like
I mean,
No, no, I'm
that
okay with
but
it.
like that is if he was a kid, that is a fucking
he was like 18, 19.
That's a
something like that,
huge
yeah.
fucking problem,
Yeah.
man. That's a huge problem that kids are getting indoctrinated.
Yeah, of
and
course.
they think that from a young age, before they have any chance to like to develop any kind of real reasoning skills based on outside life experience, they are fucking sent off to their death thinking that they're doing the right thing.
Yep.
Like that is so fucked up.
Yeah, I was listening to some. Speaking of this podcast evolving into things we watched on YouTube lately, some stuff about atheism and stuff. Some people talking about that, which I don't know. Sometimes I guess I get into, and talking about how like it's like the indoctrination is like as a kid you trust your parents and adults
Yeah.
to define the world for you, and so when things like the stove is hot and the bus will hit you and kill you is in the exact same tone and form of logic as like fucking ding ding dango ding dong, boom.
Bing Crosby Bing. Yeah.
It like how that really fucks, like it makes it really hard to undo, because it's like me trying to convince you, Sean, that stoves aren't hot when they're hot and they'll burn you, even though that's a thing that actually that isn't the same because you can just touch a stove, but like it's like me trying to convince you that rain is formed a different way.
Right.
But I guess that wouldn't be hard if I just had proof to show you. So again, it's all really weird.
It's all about it being an invisible man in the sky.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the central message is correct that you are taught these things by your parents in your very formative years, and they are taught as lessons in the same way that like real world important lessons are taught, so they all carry the same weight.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
And it's like taught to be like the defining thing of your personality.
Yeah.
And like your
Yeah.
family.
Yeah.
And that's the thing that I fucking, when I get in a mood and I gripe about it, I actually don't care about beliefs. Like I don't really
believe in
care.
whatever
I
you
really
want to. Just
care,
don't like
whatever.
fucking make a movie about it.
But the thing, I think, like if someone were to go like, do you think it's bad? I go, yeah, it's definitely bad. And the part of it that's bad is that it encourages this way of thinking where you will value things that are make-believe as equal to things that are like definably true.
Yeah.
And so then people have to like debate with your invisible friend as though it is science.
A more yeah.
Well, this is. I mean, I don't even care if you believe in things that are make believe in the same way that you believe in facts. Like that is fine. It's when you start to impose that belief system on somebody else.
Yeah.
Through violence, through shame, through a number of different things, through just various forms of aggression, honestly. But it's also in the exclusionary aspects of the religion that come out towards other people, like the homophobia, like the fucking Islamophobia, like all the shit that comes along with being raised as, a Christian, because that's what we're talking about.
Yeah.
This movie made me realize that when they spend the 20 minutes on the Council of Nicaea and the very important diversion Christianity made there, that council was clearly like a bunch of progressives within Christianity being like, we kind of have to get away from the like the Son of God was killed for our sins thing, if we want this religion to be applicable to the world in a positive way. And a group of like conservative fuckheads were like, no, Jesus was real.
I think
Yeah,
I think
same thing, isn't it?
if I'm not mistaken, the Council of Nicaea was when, I think you're right. I mean,
Yeah.
it's when they kind of like decided more or less conclusively what they were going to include in the Bible and what they
Right.
were going to omit.
Yeah.
Right.
And they included that Jesus was the Son of God and is eternal and is God and is also the Holy Spirit.
Well, and they do stuff like they omit certain things that don't
Yeah.
fit that narrative, like anything that's written by a woman, for example.
Yeah,
or like,
yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
It would be confusing.
Your number one Bible study podcast, Citizen Kane Versus.
Look, it's like you were saying though. Like you can believe whatever you want, but I just don't want you participating in society as like as the same fucking thing.
Yeah.
Like
that got so real.
the fact that you can't like run for office essentially in the United
Yeah.
States if you're not religious is fucking backwards. I don't think you should be allowed to run for government if you believe in
If
an
you-
imaginary person in the sky. Like you're not
If you've
qualified.
given X amount of money to a church, you should be disqualified from public office.
100%.
I mean, yeah, I mean, sure. I think just don't include it in your fucking politics. Like, don't make it a platform.
if you can, but if I was running for mayor,
Yeah.
and it's like it's not going to influence anything that I do in city council, but my best friend is this giant green ostrich, Benny, who comes with me everywhere. He's a great pal, but he's just a buddy of mine. It won't anyway, so I'm going to mainly focus on infrastructure. Like you'd be like, yeah, as long as it's not in city council, all good.
Well, that's like
I'd vote for you.
I know, that's pretty cool.
Real life, the mayor of Guelph is part of a like evangelical Baptist church that is kind of in the fringe, but he's the mayor of Guelph, and in the last municipal elections, or 2 times ago, he tried to jam council full of the church elders and the people within his church. He backed them publicly and propped them up in all the competitive council wards, and only like 3 or 4 of them won. But like he could have had an entire council of his church.
Yeah.
In what is one of the most progressive cities in Ontario. Guelph's fucking weird, but
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
a real problem. I thought there was supposed to be a complete separation of church and state and politics. I know it's ridiculous, but isn't that like isn't that written somewhere or part of their constitution or something?
Yeah.
Oh, Daniel.
Yeah.
I know that's
I
not
know.
how it is.
I know.
That's not how it is. But
I'm being hyperbolic in my.
But it is insane
patronizing.
to me that a point was made of saying these two things are separate and never the two shall meet.
And it's literally never been the case. Yeah.
it's literally like what was his name? What's
Never
the
ever.
Mormon guy?
China's the closest.
Mitt Romney.
Mitt Romney.
When he was coming close in the election, and they were like, "Well, he's not Christian, so I don't know. I don't think we can trust this guy."
Not the right Christian. Yeah.
He
Right.
technically believes in Christ.
Yeah.
Anyway, the point is, religion is absolutely bonkers and stupid. I don't even like. Honestly, I'm not even like an atheist. Is not even what I'd say. I'm like anti-theist. I'm like against it. I think it's bad.
Is this the point where we all declare our stance on religion?
Yeah.
On
the record.
I don't think that I would say that I'm anti-theist. I think that there's a lot of benefit to be gained by the individual in a lot of cases. I don't think that religion I don't think religion automatically makes a person bad. I think that a person can find a good sense of community and, some core tenets to live by through religion. And if that can make you a happier, better person, that's cool, because that does happen.
Yeah.
But like, keep it to yourself. If whatever you believe in involves hatred for any other communities, fuck off. Keep that to yourself as well. There's no place for that. But I wouldn't say, I think that there's value in religion the way there's value in like Buddhism and meditation practices. Like it's all, you know what I mean?
Buddhism is a religion.
But not in the same way. It's not a theistic religion.
Yeah. The Buddha.
The Buddha is their
No,
god.
the Buddha was a prophet, no?
Wow.
I think there's a difference. The Buddhism focuses more on the inward journey of the individual as opposed to worshiping a deity.
Sure.
Sure.
Right?
I mean, I don't know. But
that's how I understand it.
sounds
I'm not
right.
going to claim to be an expert on Buddhism.
This is the number one theological podcast in Canada.
Citizen Kane versus religion.
Yeah.
All I'm saying is I think that there's value in religion. I think Christianity is terrible. I think Catholicism is terrible. I think that there are good people that belong to those communities and they get a lot of value from them, and it doesn't make them bad people. But I think the institutions are fucking toxic. That's my stance on religion.
Yeah, I fall somewhere in there.
Oh, I'm definitely more extreme then.
Yeah.
I think it goes beyond the institutions. I think also if you believe in the tooth fairy, that you're an idiot. Back me up.
Back me up.
Like I don't make an excuse for that. Like I can't talk to you as though it's fine.
Okay. But I mean, but like everybody has a version of that thing that they believe in.
Yeah.
That isn't
thing.
necessarily totally realistic or grounded. That helps you shape the way that you go through life.
I think that's
right?
a presumptive statement.
No, I don't think so. I think that everybody has the.
Look, climate change, Dan?
Yeah, exactly.
Is that what you're saying?
Exactly. No, what I'm saying is life is a story. The way you go through life, you're telling yourself a story. And if that story involves what?
Keep going.
And if that story involves things that might not necessarily be real, that's fine by me. Are you trying to get
the sandwich
this
making over there?
person's opinion?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's that? That's fine. Everyone has their own thing. Again, I go back to, if you meditate, you believe in, if you follow the practices of Buddhism, again, do you disagree with that? Do you have a problem with people who do that?
Meditation and Buddhism are wholly different things.
But it's a version of that idea of you have some kind of like ethereal or abstract belief system that helps you guide yourself through life. Yeah. And I don't think that I personally don't think that you should judge everybody with one broad brush if their version of that doesn't line up with yours. That isn't to say that I think that God is real or that the religions I mentioned aren't fucking awful. But I think that everyone has like their own kind of fairy tale they're working through.
The belief of a creator does not negate my like respect for you in any way.
I'm not talking about respect.
Yeah, I can still carry on.
Kind of just
yeah. You're like, I can't deal with you.
Yeah, don't fucking bring that shit to me. Don't talk to me.
It's stupid, and I can agree that we all can think stupid things. That's as close to equal as I can get to with what you're trying to get at, which I know I sort of follow you.
Yeah, okay,
but that's the way I would have to phrase it.
Okay, I mean to me that is overly cynical, but
I'm not saying it even in a cynical way. I'm saying it as an acceptance of humanity
to double down on the fact that anybody who has any kind of similar belief system is stupid, or that the belief is stupid, is aggressive and cynical for sure. Because not all of it is stupid. Some of it is actually quite helpful and beneficial. Yeah. It might not be realistic, but I think to say it's stupid, it
involves.
I'm saying the belief. I'm saying specifically the belief in an imaginary friend.
Yeah, but it's a leap of it is the leap of faith. That is.
Oh, I understand.
That is, yeah, but we all make our leaps of faiths to things we don't fully understand, and we make life choices on those leaps of faiths, whether they're part of a religion or part of a belief about the physical universe in some way, shape, or form.
Some form of optimism of a sort.
Yeah. Yeah, you have to if you're gonna persist and not just be a quivering heap of fear every day. You have to place some kind of faith in a thing or a system or a belief. Yeah,
you're talking about meaning as well.
Yeah,
a little bit.
Yeah, you got to do that.
Yeah, I think. Yeah.
So
there's a lot of tricky shit.
But honestly, we're solving this right here.
We're not. It's not helping.
We're not, and I don't know what it is, but if you're trying to take the position that you don't have some version of this in your life or your outlook on life, you're lying to yourself. Everybody has it, because everybody, like I said, we are constantly just finding different ways to tell ourselves the story of our life, and we use different tools to do that. And I think that a lot of that involves.
I think you're drawing some parallels between ways of thinking that are not super valid. I think to you they feel that you're saying you have the same thing, and I think you're assuming that I would see those similarities. I think it's very, just because people find meaning in different things doesn't mean that finding meaning in an imaginary friend is the same thing as finding meaning in community or whatever. Like, that doesn't mean that you're telling your story in the same way.
I'm not talking about community. I think that you said it more
community
succinctly.
as a random thing.
Well, no, but Sean said it more succinctly than I'm able to in regards to taking certain leaps of faith that you don't necessarily have any kind of objective grasp on to move forward in life. Community is a very objective, grounded thing, and I don't know what your version of what I'm talking about is, but I cannot and do not believe that you don't have one.
Like, you would argue, I think, to help you out, I think you're saying that
I don't need your help, Jack.
No, but as a way of understanding this, you're kind of this is exactly where I think this podcast needed to go. That
I think that if we're gonna have a podcast about Christianity, there's no way we don't.
Kirk Cameron really sparked a dialogue here.
Right.
Yeah.
Trialogue.
We should have just not talked about any of the subjects at all.
Trialogue.
Yeah. So fucking like even my belief, something that defines a lot of the way that I think about life, is that nothing happens after death. When you're dead, you die.
Sure.
And as that is sort of an unprovable thing, that is a leap of faith to a degree.
Yeah.
And I allow my life to be defined by that thing that is, as far as we know, a belief.
I would say that's a decent example. Yeah.
Right. That's kind of what you're trying to say.
Yeah. We all need to posit something at the end of the long, winding road of life in order to continue going.
Yeah, maybe.
We do.
Yeah.
Whether it is nothingness. In yours, it's more like I become worm food. I am turned back into the soil. I am brought back to part of like the continuing revolution of the universe and its matter.
That's the best I can surmise. Yeah.
And for some people, that realization
true.
is embodied within a creator myth.
Yeah, and that's a little bit more of a stupid version.
Sure. You should go to a council and you should beat up the people that disagree with you, because then that works.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I was thinking. Yeah. I smite them on the cheek, I think, as he smote him.
As he beats the shit out of him.
Smote him on the cheek. Like he is beating him with his cane.
Repeatedly smiting you on your cheek until your teeth pop through your flesh. Yeah.
Yeah.
Did we solve it?
No.
Can we make the Middle East peaceful?
Think, what's that?
Can we
Did we
solve the
peace in the Middle East?
No. I think you're drawing. I think I know you're. Look, I understand what you're getting at. I just think it's a pretty hefty thing to say. Yeah, it's all the same. You know what I mean? It's like
it's. You just have to get along with people.
Yeah, who's not saying that?
But I can't walk in and meet someone and have them be like wearing a religious symbol around their neck and me immediately be like, oh well, this person's a fucking moron.
I mean, you can think that, but you can't. You can't treat them.
You can't
that way.
act on that.
I have often made the comment of like, I cannot believe that like my parents, who I thought were smart, educated people, can't see how ridiculous what they believe in is. Totally.
But it's deeper. It's deep. God, it's deeper than just the belief, right? It is the community. It is the social structures.
It's the indoctrination that we're talking about.
That is the biggest problem.
It's the brainwashing.
But you say indoctrination, and yes, obviously, I fully believe that there is a massive amounts of indoctrination within it. Yeah, she's hitting there. Yeah, but like hashtag not all churches, right? Like hashtag there are religious groups that are not like, yes, they say God every time they get together, but it is about the food you bring to the potluck, and it is about making like checking in on your neighbors while you're there.
And it is truly about making your community better and being better to your fellow man.
That does exist.
That does definitely exist.
Yeah,
and
I would venture to say probably less so in whiter churches.
Yeah, well,
unfortunately,
yeah, the waspy ones.
The waspy ones. But definitely it does exist.
She who shall not be named. That's a look on your face.
Is there anything you'd like to add?
I'm just listening.
Okay. It's a good podcast, right?
Yeah, I'm really glad you guys are tackling religion.
Hey,
Fucking round 4 is religion good?
Religion.
is religion
Good?
It's just is religion.
Is religion?
Yeah.
Yeah, let's take a break.
Let's do that, please.
All right, we'll rate these movies after the break.
Bing Crosby.
So when Bing Crosby sings his song, I'm just trying to. Snow. Okay, so let's rate these movies because we just talked about religion. Stay tuned for a possible podlet about. Stay tuned. About where Citizen Kane is just going to versus things like religion and other shit.
Climate change.
Speaking of
the
that,
economy.
that
man.
absolute thing. Yeah, oh yeah.
Three white men.
Whatever.
It's
That's
called
all
Citizen Kane
podcasts,
versus-
anyways. So anyway, let's rate these movies.
Yeah,
so
let's do it.
So story, the first one, White Christmas.
White Christmas.
Oh, White Christmas.
Yeah, production, White Christmas.
White Christmas.
That's White Christmas.
Acting, White Christmas.
White Christmas.
I know you're thinking of what was his name?
DeAndre.
DeAndre.
So here's what I'll say. It goes to White Christmas, but DeAndre deserves an honorable mention as maybe the best actor in both movies.
Certainly a trooper.
Certainly
you know?
a trooper. He was doing some actual improvising.
Yeah.
Yep.
Speaking a fucking mile a minute.
And he can beatbox.
And he can beatbox. He had some really good comedic timing.
Yep.
He was an actual talented actor on the screen.
He was like the most energized, bright-eyed performer.
Yeah,
The rest
it's,
of them
it's,
felt
a,
a
it's
bit
a
sleepy.
shame that he's a Christian and in that movie, but
If you're giving a
he's
shout
a
out,
fucking idiot.
he's got those people for friends. In Jackson.
No, but it makes him happy, Dan.
Yeah, that's cool. I'm cool.
Fine.
I'd hang out with
Whoever floats your
DeAndre.
boat. I have to shout out his wife, who honestly was probably the most believable person
Just like
on screen.
so uncharismatic that it felt so deeply human.
So real. It's like I was watching The Wrestler or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, she seemed like she was fun, and she was also. I was watching The Wrestler.
Speaking of Aronofsky.
So gritty.
Oh,
Such
God.
a tiny person too.
So tiny.
Holy
And he was surprisingly
shit.
tall. So the winner, so the Citizen Kane. So, okay, is that it? Shout out to him.
And a dishonorable mention to Kirk Cameron, who can go fuck himself. I'm saying that publicly.
Wow.
Yeah,
It's a bold stance.
Wow.
Well,
Very
I
few
would
people
never
take
say
it.
that kind of like broad strokes.
I'm not down.
Kind of.
You know, I respect whatever people believe in, but don't
Yeah.
fucking force your Christian propaganda down my throat. You fucking piece of shit.
Yeah.
Agreed.
No, but it makes him happy.
No. Greed makes him happy. That's
Yeah.
different.
Yeah,
Same
he
thing.
Boom.
Boom.
No, yeah, he's capitalizing on his air
Well,
quotes
especially
fame.
when the final message of the movie is capitalism is good.
Yeah, like eat a big fat dick, dude.
You know, the film cost $500,000 and it made like $2.4 million.
Are you fucking kidding me?
Of course.
It
This was
made its money
Okay,
and
first
then
of
some.
all, how the fuck did that movie make, or how did that movie cost $500,000? They shot in one location for clearly one day with no actors
Couple days.
or lights.
Have you seen the contract for the God Bod Troop or whatever they're called?
the God Squad hip hop
The
crew.
God Bod Troop. Fucking hilarious. Can that be our new name? Could we be the God Bod Troop?
God Troop.
That's fucking funny.
Yeah.
But you think that it was a
I think
lucrative
they
deal
were
for
about
them?
$480,000 just to book them.
But like
Yeah.
most of that went to Kirk Cameron, you think? Like
Oh,
Yeah.
absolutely. And most of that was embezzled into their like private tax-free funds.
I think no, guys. I think to be real about it, I think the entirety of that money went towards the production side of it and then selling it.
right.
Like it was the marketing.
Like the marketing?
Yeah,
Yeah.
and like
where was it even marketed? How the fuck does this? Was
It
it
was
in
marketed to
theaters?
church
Where does
yeah, it
it
was
make?
in theaters. It was in like 450 theaters across the United States.
Are
oh,
you?
that's fucked.
and it
for
made
real?
$2.4 million.
That movie was in over 400 movie theaters, like real movie theaters.
Yeah, America, man.
That
There's
is
a lot of small towns with small
Yeah.
town theaters.
fucking travesty, dude.
Yeah.
That is insane.
Middle America.
But that is like saying, do you remember that Krampus movie we were talking about? That
I'll
was on
never
Netflix?
forget it. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
The one that was like shot on a handycam.
Yeah.
That's like saying that movie was in a movie theater. Like
Correct.
it is that level of. I cannot believe it.
If Krampus,
That movie's better.
If Krampus,
That movie is better.
That movie's like
There's-
a lot better.
There's boobs in
but
that movie.
if that had been about Jesus, it would have made $2.4 million.
I'm slowly shifting to your extreme side of the spectrum, Jack.
Correct.
Wow.
Because it makes people more dumb.
Yeah, that's infuriating.
And
That's
people
really-
being more dumb is bad for society. And I like society to work as best as possible. This is my gripe.
I like dumb people being in society so that I can be better than they are in society.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm
guys.
kidding. I take that back. I take that back. That was a full on joke.
The Illuminati.
Yeah.
Okay, so fucking the Citizen Kane of the week is...
Lord help the mister who comes between me and my sister. And Lord help the sister who comes between me and my man.
Were you waiting for her to-
Whites Only Christmas, or whatever it's called. Sure seemed like it. That's all I'm saying.
We are we are hitting all of Sean's like PC nerves.
PC nerds.
So yeah, that's it. We're gonna fucking leave now. So thanks for...
What's happening next week?
Yeah, next week
next
it's gonna
episode?
be one of two things, right? We're saying
Might be a worst of the worst.
yeah, we might do because we did a best of the best many seasons ago now, years ago, if you can believe it.
Yeah.
And
Wasn't it last
It's like
year?
a year and a half ago.
Wasn't it was last year?
It was
wasn't
like last summer. It was like last June.
No, we did it. Didn't we do it for New Year's?
No.
Oh,
No.
oh,
No.
it
okay,
wasn't. It was like really last.
Like
Okay,
last
whatever.
August.
whatever.
Yeah.
Anyway, so we might do a worst of the worst, where Sean's gonna tally up some of the worst rated films ever on the
Worst
podcast.
rated films we've ever had. Pitch them against each other until we have the true most horrible film
Oh,
we've
man.
seen. I don't think I'm going to include Saving Christmas. It was. I think it's our first clean sweep. Maybe
No, I think we've had other ones, but
Had others.
It's not a movie.
That was a definite
this.
blowout.
Yeah,
Like,
this
there's
one is
no
just an
real-
automatic win.
We can give it some sort of special
Special nod.
a special bad movie for Dum Dums award. How does
Yeah.
that sound?
All right.
Yeah.
The dunce cap.
Yeah, like the Dunce Cap Award for fucking home videos for idiots.
Bad movies for dum dums.
Yeah, yeah.
How does that sound, Dan? Fuck off. I think it sounds great.
Yeah.
Or-
Or we might do an Aronofsky episode. It's going to come up anyway because, I mean, I feel like I'm partly pitching this because, Dan, you love Requiem, and I think you've
I don't know if love is the right word.
You love
You
Requiem.
talk about it a lot.
You
It's
do.
I think it's a really good film. I don't know.
You always
if I
say
love
it's
it.
what got you into drugs.
No, it's what kept me away from hard drugs. Actually,
Well,
It worked then.
to a degree. To a degree.
Black Swan's what kept me away from being a prima ballerina.
So it'll be fucking Requiem for a Dream versus probably Noah as probably Aronofsky's
Starring Russell Crowe.
like
Emma Watson.
stupidest movie for dum dums that he's made is probably Noah.
Yep.
So those will be the movies, or we'll do Breakfast of Champions, or whatever we said. So
You let us know if you have a preference. You let us know in the comments.
if you're
or
the
send us an
only
email or
person
tweet
to
us.
comment, we'll do whatever you say.
Yeah, Dad. What do you want us to do?
Yeah,
Are
what do
we
you
gonna
think?
Do worst of the worst, or Aronofsky?
We're
week?
speaking to Mr. Jacqueline directly.
Yeah.
Does he still comment on our YouTube videos?
I
We
don't know.
don't have
I
YouTube
don't
videos.
check
Do we still have YouTube videos?
Yeah,
we
they auto upload from
Yeah.
Spreaker.
from the feed.
That's good.
Yeah.
Don't tell them how the sausage
Okay,
is made,
that's
Jack.
it. Ready on 3, 1, 2, 3. Snow. Snow. Think for yourself.